Hello, and welcome to another update video about the S&P 500. Wanted to start the video just with an announcement. In the next few days, maybe next week, we're not entirely sure, this week or next week, we're going to launch our MTO stocks and shares service. So this is going to be a professional service, Elliott Wave service, where you get daily updates for certain stocks and shares, plus the S&P 500 on a regular basis. There will be some webinars here and there. You get access to the live charts of our stocks and shares, plus the S&P 500. And we'll see what we can include. It needs to be manageable in the beginning. It will be managed via Patreon in the beginning while we are building. And then at some point, it will transition over to the website. And then we will combine all the memberships there. And you can book what you want. And maybe we can even make it a little bit more modular at some point, right? Because we've got obviously the crypto membership, we've got stocks and shares as a service. So yeah, a lot of people asked for it. So that caused me to accelerate it. It will be interesting. I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Okay, the S&P 500 currently still in this structure here. I'm still primarily following here the orange wave count on the shorter time frame, which means this would be an uptrend, basically an uptrend setup. Yeah, so continuation higher, maybe to round about 5,500. At the moment, we are pulling back. At the time, we made you aware that there should be a more significant top here in this region. Yeah, when we moved up here, I highlighted to you one more high and we could have a more significant top in place. That happened. We came down. Absolutely. I think evidence here, it is a more significant top. The question is, how low do we go? We've got support areas on the chart here going all the way down to 4,188. That's the main pivot point for me. And important is to understand that, yeah, I'm tracking primarily on the shorter time frame a bullish scenario. But if it forms, instead of 3 waves down, yeah, if it forms 5 waves and breaks below support, then we have a setup that will bring us down probably to round about $2,500, $3,000 roughly. Yeah. So this is going to be very, very interesting in the next few weeks and months. Will there be a year-end rally or not? It will literally all depends on the structure after the next low in a C wave. We're getting closer. And it will depend on how the S&P 500 reacts to the pivot point down here. I mean, relevant levels are $4,280 and $4,188. So as I said, I'm primarily focused here anyway on the downside at the moment. It either is a bullish scenario in which I would also expect a further pullback in a C wave of wave 4, or it's something more bearish, which would then just carry on to go down to the downside. Yeah. At the moment, and that's in line with what I highlighted to you in the last video, we have an A wave down, we have a B wave up, which turned around in our short trade area. We had a wave 2 then in the wave C, also turned around in our short trade area. I think after the last video, it moved a little higher, but it did never break our resistance, and which is what is really relevant, yeah, for the wave counts. So it never broke above our pivot point at $4,518. And it's now nicely following through to the downside. I don't really like the look how this comes down here. It basically now got a green candle where it shouldn't really have had one if it was really following through in a third wave to the downside. But honestly, against this last swing high of the 14th of September, here $4,512, against that level, I focus on the downside. You could even argue that we focus on the downside against that last swing high, 4466, yeah, because it broke the wave 1 low, okay? And I have all reasons to assume currently that we are in a third wave to the downside, which should bring us closer, first of all, into the region around, I mean, that's the next support, around 4,340, these previous swing lows here, and then eventually down to 4,280. If it fails to follow through and breaks above one of the key levels that I mentioned to you, well, I would have to assume that we basically get an extension of the B wave, okay, that this B wave was never finished. That is possible, especially if we break above the last Thursday high. Then it would be A wave down, and then the B wave to the upside unfinished in a larger A, B, C structure, and then we come down. This is, of course, still possible, but we will be able to rule that out as soon as the price breaks below $4,330. Overall, I think we need to pay attention to those next key levels here to the upside that I highlighted to you, especially in the short term, 4,465, and then this wave 2 high at 4,512. That's even more important. But yeah, I mean, it's not bullish yet, in my opinion. We have 3 waves up. It's a pretty clear language, in my opinion, that speaks. The move down is, yeah, potential 5-wave move down, 3 waves up. That's all in line with what we suggested, yeah. And I mean, here, best I can tell is that this is a 3-wave move down at the moment. We had 5 waves down here, so I could count that as a small wave 1. This might have been a wave 2, but what's this, right? It should now be a third of a third wave, which should really break down. So it feels a little bit off, a bit wrong what's going on here. So yeah, it's 3 waves down. You know, that turned into a 3-wave move down. So it could just be an ABC. We'll see if it follows through. I gave you the key levels to watch. In my opinion, the trend is down. And yeah, I will have to change my view above one of these key levels, but it would not necessarily be directly bullish. To really get more confidence in a bullish direct move to the upside, I need to see 5 waves up, and those were 3 waves, and this was also very, very choppy. So those 2 short trade areas worked out nicely. Just be aware that at the moment I don't see a clear setup. Those were short trade areas, of course. I don't see a clear setup right now. I would just pay attention now to the key levels and maybe move your, I don't know, stop loss into break even at least, or slight profit if you entered a short trade there, or maybe you already took some profits. That's of course up to you. I can never tell you where and when to enter a trade. I can only tell you the pivot points, the levels to watch, the turning points, where the price has a good chance to turn around, okay, and it did that in the relevant areas. And then ideally in the not so distant future, the price should enter this box here, maybe a little lower, yeah, and then turn around there for the bullish scenario. If we break below it, then we have some clarity, because then we are most likely following the very bearish projection that I made you aware already a month ago about the risk here to the downside, because it could just be playing out here as a wave 4, and maybe this is not even the completion. Maybe this is going to be a large A wave, then a B wave, and then we come down even lower. This is what is going to show, but you can see that we will still get notice very, very early, but it just takes a certain distance to cross for us to really confirm that bearish scenario. That's my update about the S&P 500. I hope you will like the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.